Okay, good afternoon. Let's see. Got a lot on my mind for this midweek update, and I got a feeling it's going to take more than just a couple minutes. Let's see if we can get through it. Start with how we got to where we are and for the week, and what that may mean for us here going forward. Okay. So earlier in the week, Monday, we had a week open down here, 4380, kind of 7-ish area right in here. And a plan for if trigger long, then target. If fail at that trigger and roll, then target on the downside. Market made its move. But where to right here at this this bullish target objective. And remember these levels too. We had in mind this 14 area to possibly trigger long, and if so, trigger up into this multifaceted reason target area up here. Remember, it's the point of control for all of this move up and back. It's the quarterly settlement. It's It's a number of things. It was last week's high. It's a few things. And one of the big things about this is the nature of what this print is and the fact that it's a balance point of control. And that's important because what price does often in trading around a price like this is it'll come into it and spend a couple of days sort of wrestling around with it, right? Trade into it, trade above it, come back to it, then trade below it, and then maybe come back to it and decide which way it's going to go, right? Blast off or fail. Okay, that's number one. So here we are wrestling with this. Well, it was the expected move at the time for the potential, measured move up on the expected move in the options chain. And it's crazy because here we are Wednesday midweek update and we're right on the print. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The price action's still, going off here for another few minutes. But now, so step 2, and what's on my mind. Today is Wednesday, and that's a big deal because I learned something a couple of years ago from a couple of old-timers, market vets that have been around for each of which in excess of 4 decades professional trade experience under their belts, not banging around 5 lots, but 100 plus and trading for a living. And the way this was explained to me, and this is a real nugget for you to put in your trade bag and remember, and that is don't chase Wednesday. All right, we term it in our trade room the midweek shuffle. It's don't chase Wednesday. What do we mean by that? Well, the market reaches up here and makes a high on a Wednesday, don't chase it. If it's breaking lower and making a low for the Wednesday, don't chase it. All right? So that preempts me to kind of maybe be in a position here to make a pretty bold call. And that would be for lower tomorrow. Now, what do we have going on? Well, in just a minute, we've got Tesla reporting. And they go out today at about 980 on the day here at the end of day. And they've traded up into 1,000-ish today and down in 975. They're going out about 980. About a $75 expected move on that report. We'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, you've got, let me bring it over into view so you can see it. We've got Fed Chair Powell speaking. Has not been real market friendly as of late, honestly. It's more, seems the Fed's writing calls, around now than it used to be the Powell put play. But, BOE Governor Bailey and ECB President Lagarde all tomorrow. And, when the market breaks on Powell, it can break pretty quickly and kind of sometimes in a nasty way. So here we have now a position where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? Monday's low, Tuesday's a higher low, Wednesday's yet a higher low than that. So technically, we are one time framing higher on this daily chart right now, which means that what would it take for this thing to roll over, trigger us, short, and that would be to, well, breach something of significance here and sort of have you in that short frame, short mindset and target objectives in mind and that kind of thing. By the same token, what would you look for to hold and very much possibly be making for higher objectives yet still on the week? Because that's certainly a possibility we have to kind of keep in mind and be prepared for. And so let's see how we can do about that. All right. Left, as of right now, from this point, measured expected move still $54-$55 still on the in the option chain into Friday. So I would one of those target ideas that we had, the initial kind of targets on the way up leading into this 60 area, was a very pivotal key kind of I can show you on. Yeah, we'll get about 10 days worth and go back into last week. Is this price right in here? Look at this pivotal area right in here last week. I think that number is 45. Maybe you could call it 42. I guess we'll call it 42 to be safe. But it really, honestly, I kind of have it in my notes as being 44 or 45 from last week. It was really key, pivotal. And then as we go forward, notice on the bottom down here Monday. So as we go forward into this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the shape of this profile, you can see the tan color profile in the background. That's the cumulative volume build for the week, right? So there's a ledge that starts right here, just below that 45. I think we'd call it 42. That gets awfully thin, awfully quick here, where it slips pretty readily and easily down into the next area of balance below down here. A good, what is that, like 50 points, right? So we kind of start with the idea that where we shift our over-under from earlier in the week on Monday up from the 44 or 43, 44, 14, we shift that up now into this 44, 42 right here. I think that's now the over-under for us. And that was the closing swing low going into the break that then, held today in today's trade that ended up going out right here at 60. But just to breach this low right there, trade about 42, which gets us into this thin part of the profile, which I would anticipate being a pretty quick and swift kind of break down into the next area of balance and sweet spot down here, which takes it down about 50 into reasonably, I think of that as being like your first kind of target down there. We'll say it's close to 50 points. I mean, by the time it breaks through this set of singles, right, and gets through this thin area for T1. And so then ultimately, let me put it to you this way. If we've made a case for how big all the reasons behind and what is going on up here at this mid 60s right there. We made a case for that. It's multifaceted. That's a pretty big deal. That's not near, honestly, as big a deal as what this 43.35 is down here. The bearish target that I had early in the week for us, which I think it could surprise. So it could. Listen, today with Powell and Lagarde and Tesla today after the bell and news tomorrow. The fact that today made a high for the week on a Wednesday, midweek shuffle, and if this thing starts to roll, trigger, breach into these single prints, get us down into a T1, we can try and hold for the idea that there's a big reason on a much higher time frame for bearish target down into this 43.35. It's a big move from here, but these things happen. In my opinion, that would take into Friday for something like that. Like tomorrow, the break starts. It gets bad enough that the break continues into a Friday, and you don't fade a move on into a Friday, right? If this thing's breaking into a Friday, you want to if it's breaking into a Friday, you want to be mindful of a bearish objective down here at 43.35, right? So now let's talk about the upside and what we could be looking for up there on the upside. So by the same token, we would consider this over under the 42, the closing swing low from today, the ledge here on this profile that could hold. If it holds it from getting into these singles to run through these singles, then that's support. So if that holds and starts to, rotate back up, it's not really what I'm looking for, but it could. Getting through, today's high, then I think we have to be looking for, you'd have to be looking for 45.03, 13 and 31. The main objective up there would be the 45.13s, but you've got a couple of targets on the way up. Initially, 45.03. It's a scale level. Get the bulk of it done at the 13s to see if there is continuation up to, and there's an LVN over here that could pretty well shut this down at about 31. That'd be kind of the top tier, but that's just if it happens to come in and hold this 42 and actually start to bounce, trading up through this area and actually holds a bid, looks firm, then it is what it is. And you got objectives. You'll be into just an initial T1 kind of scale a bit at 03 and well on your way to trying to see if you could reach up into 31 for a kind of a final, thank you very much, bullish play. That's it. I hope that made sense, and we'll see how this goes. Main deal here is we're shifting that initial trigger over under. We're shifting that up now, and that will be now the level to tell us if we're going to fire off a short for what at that time could be one whale of a trade. That's about 100 points. That plays out all the way down into Friday. So, all right, that's what I got for you. And good trade, nice evening. Look forward to being with you again next week early. Take care.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me